In February 2022, Morgan, 31, and her husband Lichtenstein, 34, were both arrested by New York police on suspicion of laundering $4.5 billion in Bitcoin that had been stolen from the Bitfinex exchange. Before attempting their heist, the hackers had been inside Bitfinex's servers for weeks. In this case, they had observed Bitcoin transactions on an exchange. They'd read up on the system's command structure in order to improve its effectiveness. Like bank robbers waiting in an air duct above the vault, they carefully observed as they moved cash in and out. The pair started flaunting their lavish lifestyle publicly after the Bitfinex breach in 2016. From Malaysia to Panama to Mexico, Morgan covered it all on social media. But let's rewind first to explore how this infamous couple pulled off one of the biggest heists in history. Bitfinex was founded in 2012, and ever since there's been problems, multiple hacks, covering up losses, and being fined by the CFTC. But the biggest disaster happened in 2016, when their Hong Kong exchange was hacked. Almost 120,000 bitcoins were stolen directly from users' wallets. Both withdrawals and trading were frozen whilst Bitfinex investigated the situation. Once the news of Bitfinex hack spread, crypto dropped about 20%. To this day, no one knows 100% how the hack happened, but the theory is that Bitfinex was using a third-party service called BitGo to secure its users' wallets. It was BitGo's server which got hacked, not Bitfinex. The hacker ordered the system to direct Bitcoin to a wallet of their choosing. But the hacker couldn't withdraw the funds. At this point, no one knew who the hackers were, but they knew where their money was. The blockchain is public. You can see all wallet transactions if you know the wallet address. These coins became banned and blacklisted from other crypto exchanges. This means that the hackers couldn't convert the Bitcoin into fiat currency. Around 25,000 of the 120,000 Bitcoins were shuffled around in a complex laundering process. Each transaction was broken down into smaller transactions, eventually being traded with other tokens. As time went on, the hacker was able to withdraw money in terms of purchasing gift cards for Uber and Walmart. They also bought into gold and NFTs. There were also theories that some of the money was withdrawn on the dark net. The hackers would pay someone on the dark net with Bitcoin, and the hackers would receive an equivalent amount of cash minus the service fee. But the majority of the Bitcoins were just sitting there over the space of 4 years. It was just way too risky to move. Until August 2021, around $760 million was transferred from the original wallet to a new wallet. They used a complicated process that split up the transactions into many pieces, but all eventually came back to the same wallet. With specialist tools, the complicated movement of Bitcoin was tracked. After an investigation, the hackers were revealed. The wallet belonged to a 34-year-old startup founder, Ilya Lichtenstein, and his wife, 31-year-old Heather Morgan. Lichtenstein was a Russian-US national. He grew up in Chicago and attended the University of Wisconsin. He had spent the last 7 years cultivating the image of a successful businessman. He got a psychology degree and actively looked for motivated college graduates. While Lichtenstein was a co-founder of a crypto startup and had a lot of previous experience in developing different applications, his wife Heather Morgan got all the attention. She states that she's a serial software entrepreneur, one of which is a multi-million-dollar profitable one that she started by herself when she was 23. She's also a former Forbes contributor who, ironically, shared articles on how to protect your business against cyber criminals and talked to exchange owners on how to prevent fraud. Heather wrote 47 different articles as a Forbes woman between December 2017 to September 2021. She even held a talk with BitGo, which is the very same third-party platform that failed to secure the Bitfinex wallets during the 2016 hack. What really caught people's attention was Heather Morgan was also an amateur rapper by the name of Razil Khan.
Motherfucking crocodile of Wall Street. Silver on my fingers and boots on my feet. Always be a goat, not a goddamn sheep.
All of the people who knew Heather were shocked when the news broke that she was behind the Bitfinex hack. But the Department of Justice tells people not to be fooled. Heather Morgan played an integral role in the money laundering and fraud scheme. They also say she had extensive knowledge and used a variety of cryptocurrency protocols to launder money. What made this easy for the married couple was that both had multiple companies in their names, using hundreds of transactions to over a dozen accounts in their names and businesses. All of their illegal activities were cloaked in the murky books of their US startups. Morgan went to her bank and said that several of her clients had requested that she begin taking Bitcoin as payment, given that her firm's salesfolk is in the business of drafting sales pitches for companies. Since the pair was planning to hide away roughly 20% of the stolen money over the preceding 6 years, money laundering may also be difficult. The couple's digital wallets had almost $90,000 worth of Bitcoins stolen from them. It's possible they entered into the scheme believing it was a less complex one, but when the stakes became higher, they realized they were in over their heads. The ever-growing pot would finally make them do something. You can't just keep a few $1 billion for 5 years without being detected. The FBI has said that although the two have not been charged with carrying out the hack itself, they have been charged with money laundering in order to acquire gold, NFTs, and other cryptocurrencies. After years of looking, investigators uncovered a cloud computing account in their name, along with details on hundreds of cryptocurrency accounts used to hold stolen assets. Morgan's businesses were used to wash the vast bulk of the Bitcoin stolen in the Bitfinex attack. About 119,754 Bitcoins were laundered in 2016. In this case, all of these Bitcoins were stolen from the Bitfinex exchange. During the attack itself, around 2,000 fake transactions occurred, with the stolen money finally landing in a wallet controlled by Liechtenstein. Around 94,000 Bitcoins were still in Liechtenstein's wallet after completing the complex money laundering process that followed. The US Department of Justice suggests a maximum sentence of 25 years for the pair if they are found guilty on all counts. The federal court has temporarily stayed the release of 2 individuals suspected of involvement in a money laundering scheme related to the 2016 Bitfinex hack. Deborah Freeman, a magistrate judge for the Southern District of New York, issued an order for Liechtenstein's home detention with a wearable GPS and a $5 million bail, and an identical order for Morgan's home detention with a $3 million bond. There will always be bad actors like this within the crypto industry. Hackers taking advantage of crypto exchanges will always be a threat, but it's rare that the threat comes from the exchange itself. That's exactly what happened with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam illegally moved funds from the FTX exchange to another company called Alameda Research and caused a market crash, unlike anything we've seen before in crypto. His net worth went from $16 billion down to zero in just a matter of days. That story is on screen right now. Click that video and you will be able to understand the downfall of Sam Bankman-Fried and how he dragged the crypto market down with him. We'll see you over there.